with a I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Okay, well, the agenda stands. Do we have any modifications, changes?
Yeah, I'd like to take the minutes out and put it into new business just for a small change.
Okay. So we'll move the minutes to a separate new business. Make that D, huh?
Mr. Thornton, if we could, and this is a simple change, where it says K-5 reading curriculum, if you could just cross through approval, and I'll explain when we get down there, but we won't be asking for formal approval at this meeting.
Okay, so leave it open, but.
So it'll still be K-5 reading curriculum, however, we will not ask for board order approval.
Okay. So then we have D, minutes. Okay, strike A. Anything else? All right, well, entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda for tonight.
One second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. We'll move on to delegations, Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Thornton. So first, I'd like to introduce our art teacher at the high school, Donna Mongard. And we had to push Donna. Unfortunately, we're getting a deluge of delegations in the last few meetings, so we had to ask Donna to come this time, so she gets the first presentation.
I appreciate it because I have to get to town and get allergy medicine for the dog. Hey, I've been attending school board meetings here for 20-some years because I've been in the district for 27 years, and I've had the high school art club for the last 10 years. I'd like you to kind of look around the room and tell me what is missing out of this room. Art.
Yeah.
Well, besides art, we're going to give you a piece of art.
Color.
Okay, some color. Does anybody have the time right now? Oh, where did you have to look? Right on your computer. So every time I come to the board meetings here, there's never a clock up on the wall. So I got together with my art club this year, and we have done some mini lessons in the after school for fun and stuff, so that we can next year bring some mini lessons after school for some kids to come in and create art. One of them was acrylic pouring. So I kind of told my art club, which is supposed to have been here tonight to help me present, but didn't show up. That's why I wanted it 2 weeks ago, because they were willing to show up. So we did an acrylic pour just for fun. They had a lot of fun. So I said, you know what? We need a clock into the boardroom, and we need to do a community service. So our community service was creating a acrylic pour clock for this classroom. Now, the metal pieces on it was donated by the WSU lady that has come in. I forgot what her name is. I've only met her a couple times. For Gear Up, yes. Yep. She asked her husband to make the letters for us. The kids picked out the design, and then I ordered a piece, and Mr. Lake helped us put the hands on it. So I would like to present this to the board for the boardroom, so we have some time. And this is what we came up with.
Oh, wow,
So
that's awesome.
So this belongs, they didn't sign the back because they didn't have time last week. And so this is now part of an art piece in here that the kids really enjoy doing as our community service. So.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Now we need a little plaque donated
For
by.
that, put it on in the back, the kids can sign it and stuff in the past, but it took us an after school about an hour to do because it was such a large pour. And then a couple that didn't get to do the pour actually did the hand placing and put it together. So they all had a
Cool.
hand in it. So anyway.
No pun intended.
So where would you like it?
If you'd like to just set it
Okay.
against the desk
So
and
now we
I have a
have,
feeling it's gonna go right under the Kiona Benton City School District sign.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you, Dawn.
Might be a reason there's no clock in
I'll send it back.
A little slow.
Okay, and second delegation, Mr. Henry, I believe. What's that?
What was it?
Your book?
I see your
Oh,
book.
well,
see your book
I
right
can,
now.
yes. The yearbook club actually brought in a yearbook to be donated to the school district. They brought it in the office. I forgot to bring it tonight. And we can bring it some point to let you guys see what they do every year. We did change the formatting this year. Yearbooks were getting pretty expensive and they actually dropped the cost by $20. It's a pretty good yearbook still. It's just a little bit thinner, still color. And like I said, I'll be more than happy to bring that back at a later time. So. I apologize.
And it is very nice.
Yes.
To be honest, until Clay told me, I couldn't have told you that there was any change to it. And anything that saves our kids $20 if they want to get one is a great deal. So thank you, Mr. Henry.
Yes, I pawed through it myself. It's
Mhm.
pretty fun. Okay, well then moving on to the proposed consent agenda as modified. Do you have any comments, questions? Okay, well, entertain a motion to accept.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And then it's gonna abstain.
Abstain. Perfect.
Okay. All right, moving on to public comments. Comments from the public.
Well, for the record, I'm Shane Yoakum. I'm sure everybody's known me for one. I am actually moving on from the BC Podcast Project. One of the things that I was doing at the time was making it the city council and the school board meetings publicly accessible and uploading it to my YouTube channel. What I'm requesting this evening, obviously, I know I can't have a decision on, is that the school board and the school district take the archiving and continue the process. Sorry, David. One of the ideas I thought about is maybe uploading just the audio to the school board or to the school district's website. Takes low amount of space. I know he was doing that with the coffee with the superintendent. So that was one idea. The other idea would be potentially uploading the video to YouTube as a regular. I know that it doesn't get a lot of viewing, but I know that when it comes time, somebody makes a comment out online and they're like, well, this wasn't talked about. People will go, oh, yes, actually they did. It was right here in this meeting and it's been a very valuable tool. I am very grateful. I need to say this on a personal level for everybody's willingness to let me do a bucket list. I've enjoyed it. I'll probably still do small projects here and there, but as a main, this is what I do 24/7. I have to stop and do some other projects. So you know, I've seen you the most, and I'm just so grateful for that. And if you guys would be willing to consider archiving it online, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you. Thanks for all your effort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we have a YouTube channel?
It's really easy to set up.
No, I just wondered if we already had one.
No, we don't.
our social media protocol.
Yep.
But I think that's probably a good idea.
I'm fairly sure that we have a communications director that can get us in on that.
And an IT guy that would.
Exactly.
All right.
And we had
Any
no-
other
We
public
had no
comment?
electronic, by the way. Sorry about that.
Do we know it?
We had no electronic. I apologize for cutting you off.
No, I just don't see us, using our servers to sponsor streaming videos. That's what we do it for.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Okay, we'll move right on to principal reports. Chris Hansen first.
Hey there, do you guys get my PowerPoint today for the curriculum? And my board report? No, okay, I have one for when we talk about curriculum, so. Well, along with the end of our year business, we had some great moments that some people were there for. We had a great field day that our new PE teacher, Ty Early, put together and helped us plan and implement. And it was so fun. We did primary kids kind of in the morning and intermediate kids in the afternoon. And then we all went out and the 5th grade did tug of war against the staff and the whole everyone's chanting and, it was funny because a 4th grader then came into my office the next day and I said, "Well, you ready to be a 5th grader?" She goes, "Yeah, tug of war," like it's already a tradition. It's already a tradition and we've done it once. So that was great. We also did our kindergarten graduation again in person and that was really lots of smiles all around, packed gym. And so we really, really had fun doing that also. We're in the busy planning, well, actually implementing almost of summer school. Last time I talked to Ruby, we were over 140 students. I think it was like 146. Is it even 150 now?
I heard 160 this morning.
60. Oh, I'm a little behind on that. Yep. So of course, Ruby does an amazing job of getting all that organized and put in place. So it's going to be great to be able to read all of it over the next 6 weeks or so. So we've hired our new counselor, Shannon Schleep. She's coming to us from Moses Lake and super excited about having her. She's got like 17 years of experience in an elementary school and comes with a lot of good experience for us. So really excited about how she can help support our students and families. And then our tech teacher, Hilka Griffiths, who's actually a parent, but she's been doing online teaching with Pearson for the last couple years. And so she's coming to be our tech person in the process of setting up interviews for our 1st grade position. And we have a few candidates now with the pool for assistant principal. So we're watching that close and we'll get that going probably next week. We'll have a transitional kindergarten position posted soon. So got some new staff coming in. I'm excited about getting some high quality people in to help us out. We'll be talking about this, but our curriculum committee did come to a decision about a proposed curriculum we would like to adopt. Super excited about it. It's really going to be able to help us meet kids' needs where they are and to differentiate and really figure out how do we step in and help kids close that gap. So we'll be talking about that. But this summer I have some teachers that are interested in receiving some training. So we're pretty excited about that. One called Daily 5, which I think they did a few years ago. It's kind of again, differentiated small group instruction through centers and some things. And so that will fit right in with, if we do get the new curriculum, we'll fit right in with that. And again, continuing our Character Strong and trying to kind of get some of the MTSS stuff in place. So with a counselor and with Marcy helping that we're going to have that in place by fall. So excited about that. And then CD and I are just working through transitions and he's been really helpful with all the things that I'll need to know for the big kids. So we're going with that. And I think that's all I have for you right now. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you. Thank you.
And just so you guys are aware, Mr. Williams just couldn't make it. He wasn't at school today. He couldn't make it tonight.
Good evening. Good evening. Hey, wanted to give a little recap of the things I talked about last meeting. Camp Wooten came and went. We were very diligent on the safety side. Is tested over 100. Monday morning, bright and early before they boarded the buses, but to our chagrin, we tested one young man at 7:30, and by 4 o'clock that afternoon, he was fully bloomed and tested positive, and we met halfway and took him home and lost a couple others. That was the only positive COVID test. The others were, we had 3 others that ended up coming home that were sick. Sometimes it's just regular sick, sometimes it's just COVID. But we had enough counselors and staff to cover their loss because 3 of them were the high school counselors. And so we're very thankful that we had a full complement of counselors to cover that. And there wasn't any mad scramble to figure out what we're doing or canceling a cabin or any of that. We didn't have to do any of that. We were prepared and thankful and glad that it stopped at 4. We had our 8th grade promotion ceremony last Thursday, and we had a very full house. So
Absolutely.
we were pleased with that. A lot of smiles, and we gave them their due, and also gave them their time, the gift of time. So it wasn't a long ceremony, but it was appropriate for where they were. And last but not least, we talked about our community service day last meeting, and how each cave picks a task or tasks, as it will, and our groups really represented our school well. We had a group at Desert Rose Terrace. We had another group, and they planted and cleaned up flower pots and brought treats to the residents there. We had another group walking the bike walking path and picking up there. I'm not going to name all of them. So know that we had a car wash that raised over $500 for a local charity. We had a group that went to the cemetery, that's what it's called, and helped there clean up right before Memorial Day. So I think that was appreciated. Groups read to the younger kids. It's just really a nice day, and proud of what we do and the opportunities that we give our students to give back to the community.
The same group that cleaned the bike path, cleaned the tennis courts, because they look amazing. The old city tennis courts.
Then there was another group that walked the city, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I
was just
mean,
curious.
she had a path, so I don't know which group did,
Which group did what?
but it was one of those 2 groups.
Excellent. They look great.
Good. And then we're in the planning for next year. We're working on school improvement plans, master schedules, pretty much tentatively in place, and we'll be meeting on Wednesday as an administrative group to plan professional development that's coming in the fall and throughout the school year. So that's the middle school in a thumbnail. Any questions?
Everybody at Camp Wooten had fun, right? I mean,
Most. We don't guarantee fun, just experiences.
if they don't, you hear about it though.
The pictures I saw that Mr. Campman sent in several emails
Yes.
were very, very descriptive, and I'm sure the board's going to be seeing those on the website soon.
How you cannot have fun at camping.
Yeah, exactly.
It's beyond me as well,
Yeah.
but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Probably different fun than I had in 6th grade, but it's still fun.
Hi there. So as you know, graduation occurred. It was a nice day, actually. Like I said that day, I was glad that I was able to wear a suit because it kept me warm. we did have a really cool thing. We had the 8th grade walk-up. So we haven't had a walk-up in 2+ years, you know. And normally, to be honest, high school people being as they are, students, they boo them in. This year they actually applauded. I was shocked. I was like, how good are these kids? They haven't done this in a while. They're just happy to see new kids, you know? So I was like, wow, nice job. And I didn't say anything about applauding before I did, but it didn't matter. They still wanted to boo it. So it was pretty cool, to be honest, because the kids walked up and it all worked out really well. We also had a gentleman from the United States Navy come in, and he gave our teachers an award. Audrey Hoyland graduated last year. She got into the toughest nuclear program for anyone coming out of high school to get in. And she's killing it, they said. So she named 3 teachers of influence. And the teachers were Mrs. Zender, who retired, Mr. Newman, and Mrs. Bird. So he gave the recognition to the 2 that were still on staff. And that's pretty cool when, you know, you come out of Benton City and you got a kid killing it, and the United States Navy says, and we want to make sure that you guys know how great they're doing. So in front of the entire student body, the new 8th graders, everything, he gave that piece of information. And I think that's always important for kids to understand that they can always achieve more and raise their horizons and see what else they can do. So that's very cool, to be honest with you. But besides that, as they've said, we're doing, you know, SIP plans. We're getting ready for next year. It all starts going downhill from here, and then beginning of August, we're going back in to make sure everything's ready and prepared and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm excited that we got through a school year with very little COVID-ness. Yeah, we had more teachers. It was kind of ironic. We had some teachers at the end of the year, but you know, to be honest, it was a good year. Kids did really well, and I'm happy that we've been successful this year in getting the kids through. So, any questions? Thank you all for those who were able to be there for graduation. We did kind of twist it up by having people come across each side, just because we thought that was a little bit easier for the kids to remember. But I do appreciate you guys coming. That's a great thing for our community. So,
Yeah, that was fun.
good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to new business. Out-of-state travel approval, Mr. Peterson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Thornton. This is an approval for Diane and our Director of Assessment, Joni Ashley, and some dual language teachers to go to the annual CAVE conference in California, which is a intensive dual language program. This is paid for out of grant funding. The combination of which is, you know, bilingual is the predominant one. So it's been accounted for in the budget. It's not from that base yet. And this will be the first in-person opportunity that they've had to attend this conference. And it's probably the best dual language conference annually. So I would just ask the board if you have any questions. You saw the agenda. It's in Newport Beach. So it'll be from what I remember, having been to one conference there, the hotels are nowhere near where the conference is, so they'll get their exercise walking back and forth a mile every day. But if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them, but.
You know, just ballpark what the total cost would be, including travel and everything.
I'd say $10,000. Approximately. Trying to do some quick math in my head.
And that was for how many people again? Sorry, you said?
I want to say 6 people.
So half their lessons are in Spanish and half in English. That's dual language.
In a nutshell.
Yes, that's a
That'll
very
make
good
them-
observation, Mr.
Make
Thornton.
them stretch. All right, so we want approval. Chair will entertain a motion. Is there any discussion, questions?
It's an important program.
And paid for with their grant money.
I'll move to approve the out-of-state travel for the dual language program.
I'll go ahead and second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Passes unanimous. So we'll go into K5 reading curriculum.
Well, thanks, Mr. Thornton. And predominantly, Ms. Hanson is going to give you a presentation. She, along with Mr. Williams, led the formal adoption process. We started all the way back in December and had a couple bumps when we had some people who weren't able to attend, so we moved some things around, but really ramped things up towards the end of the year, wanting to make sure, I know it was a priority of the board to get the reading adoption completed. And Ms. Hanson will go through the process and some of the whys behind the decision that was made. I said earlier we were modifying the agenda and I was taking the approval off there. One of the things that I'm not comfortable doing is presenting the board with an adoption, however, not having a quote in hand to let you know exactly how much that adoption is going to cost. We were hoping that either Friday or Monday, the representative would give us a quote with the cost that did not arrive today. So in the meantime, what we're going to do, Ms. Hanson is going to, and she doesn't know this, well, she kind of does. She's hopefully going to bring me, or I'm going to go get the materials because we do need to do a public display of the materials. So we will advertise on our website that through, I believe it is the 20th, possibly 21st, whichever that Friday is, for 2 weeks. We will have those on public display available. Any residents can come in, take a look at them, go through the materials. We'll also have a link on our website to the online materials if they'd like to take a look at those. And then in these next 2 weeks, we will have a definitive quote from the company, and I'll share that with the board. And then we can put it in the consent agenda and then move it out if there's further discussion. But those will also give the board members who, I know Josh was able to make some of the presentations. If anybody else would like to take a look at the curriculum, obviously it's open to the public, so you can come in and take a look at your leisure too. So with that, we'll have the presentation of the curriculum itself. Take any questions on process or content or anything like that, and then we'll see what the bottom dollar is and come back for a formal approval.
So, yeah, it hasn't, this company, American Reading Company, that we ended up doing a survey of the committee, and it was almost unanimous, 9-1, kind of ish. After much discussion though, because it is a different kind of route than what we've taken before. It is not a normal kind of basal. We were kind of between, when everything kind of settled, between open court, which is what we've had before, and similar to kind of Journeys, what we've done. And then this American Reading Company, which is a little bit, it's just designed a little bit differently. It's designed, they're their own company. So, and it goes right along with our core intervention stuff that we did when we took that core reading class, the science of reading. They really focus on starting from there, like how do kids learn to read? And then they grow from there. If you look on the second page, there it says that they're founded by teachers, for teachers, with a singular mission, which is every child in America reads reading and writing on or above grade level. That's really their goal, is to close that gap. Every lesson integrates grade level science and social studies concepts, and then language arts standards, which I think is pretty awesome, because they know that kids just are so interested in science, so interested in some of the social studies things out, with the world, and they incorporate the learning to read or the reading for information through those interests. Students read, speak, and write every day. So I know kind of one of our goals has been our writing has not been up to where we want it to be. And this curriculum really has a good writing component. We were noticing with open court that we may have to supplement with a writing, a writing curriculum or a writing supplement of some kind. And it's just built right in and part of it. Units are grounded in just that sequential and systematic science of reading. So through phonics and phonological awareness and spelling, morphology of spelling, and just all these things that go right along. K2 is really focused on the kind of the phonics components. 3-5 goes more into the vocabulary and the comprehension and things that just follow that sequential realm there. But all students have access to targeted instruction and intervention. So it's really designed for small group intervention and individual assessment with teachers. So they have time, like every week, that a teacher meets with a student and figures out kind of where they are. Groups are fluid, like it's really amazing. If you look at the page, sorry, the printer did the stapling and I can't ever quite figure out how they did it. But it's a 4-unit, if you get to this, it's a 4-unit system. The first unit is just teaching, it's the launch, literacy launch, they call it. And what they're really doing is really setting the base for teaching kids to love reading. So this is different than some that are just, oh, now it's our reading block. You know, they set up student libraries where kids can choose books that are leveled. So at their level, teachers help them do that, but they're all related to, like, if you're studying about bugs or what, something that they're just, the books go along with that. So kids have books, real books in their hands, reading about it, talking about it, good language development. So that also goes along with our English language development, because we're really reading and talking about that. Unit 2 then is a science focus. Unit 3 is like a genre. So they're talking about either informational text or fictional text. And then unit 4 is more of the social studies. But then they have all the language standards built right into those. So really pretty amazing. The rest, the next one talks about grade level rigor and how they just talk about what each kind of day looks like. And you do whole group foundational skills, but then you're really trying to get kids reading complex text. So it pushes them past their just comfort level, you know, and really going through that. And again, like every 6 weeks, they have an extensive assessment system that you'll see if you go down and look at it down at the district office, but where kids can get assessed like every 6 weeks, like where are they at, where have they moved now, and what along with MAP, then, you know, us really seeing those strands of where the learning needs to be, like we can really target kids' learning and hopefully get those gaps filled. Differentiated support, and it talks about writing and how there's rubrics and there's the strategic instruction, formative assessment, support for families. So it also does reports for families on the very back page. That just says, this is where your child is now. This is what they can do. This is what we're going to want them to do next. This is what you can do to support them in English and Spanish. It's got a really strong Spanish component. That is one of the reasons we looked at it a little bit late, because we heard about it a little bit late. Diane had heard about it, and then we heard Prosser was adopting it and Kennewick's adopting it, or I think Kennewick, Opasco's adopting it. Kennewick was, I haven't heard what they decided, that they were leaning that way. Like, it's just any of these systems that are doing the dual language really strongly now are said this is a great one, because it just got a really strong Spanish component. What else do I need to tell you? Any questions for me?
You answered them all.
Okay. I tend to talk, but the one thing I was going to say, the other thing is that it's got a great professional development piece of it. So they only send, like, I remember when we ordered Journeys and they sent you 7 years, like you order for 7 years, and they sent, like, the whole gym was pallets and pallets, you know, and you have to try to, this is 1 unit at a time. They do the PD for that 1 unit. And then you can do coaching. They'll come to your PLCs, they'll come do model lessons for you. They have video model lessons. They'll come co-teach with you. They'll watch you and tell you what they think you should be doing. They also, then you're ready, they send the second unit and do a small little, hey, where are we at? And she said, really, when they go that way, the first year, it's really when you really have to dive into that PD, or sometimes you get a whole, before the year starts, you get this whole big thing, and then people get a little lost in it, you know? So I really liked that part too, so that we don't feel so overwhelmed by, because new curriculum's always a little overwhelming, you know? So, yeah, but it's exciting, so I appreciate you listening, and hope you liked it like we do.
This will be K-5?
K-5.
Okay.
Yep. It is a K-12 program. but
I just noticed that online, just so you know.
And when you look at, like,
Yeah, it
there's
says
a
K-12
ed
here.
review or ed, it's kind of like, I think of it like the car review guys, you know? And they're all like, when I looked at it next to OpenPort, nothing against OpenPort, but it's just, they got all greens all the way down. Like, it's what they're really serving kids, you know, and what they're trying to do with it is highly regarded right now, so. So I think we got to give them something.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
One thing I would add is I did get the opportunity before the committee voted. I spoke with the assistant superintendent of Prosser. And so then I sent an email to our representative because Mrs. Flores in Prosser is very interested in teaming with us for this professional development, and therefore cutting the cost a little bit for the it's rather intensive professional development. So they're very interested in that. And then also potentially, you know, we've come to enjoy this Zoom and Teams stuff so much over the last 2 years. Not really. I was kind of being facetious, but in an effort to be able to collaborate more on PLC days, potentially having some of our elementary grade level teams do video interaction with Prosser's teams that are going through the first year at the same time. You know, you get 5 people in a room all doing something new. There's going to be a lot of talk, but then you're getting the opportunity to talk with another school and another district that might be doing it a little bit differently, I think has some real good potential. So that in and of itself, it seems like as much as we like to talk about we're our own little island, sometimes when we can collaborate between districts, it could turn out to be a really good thing.
Looks good. Always nice when everybody agrees.
Yep. Yeah, 9-1 is what we like to call consensus.
Yep. Mandate. Call it a mandate.
There you go.
I love that it ties in the science and the social studies.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we don't, especially when we feel like we have to close that gap, we don't always take as much time as we want to with science and social studies, you know, and so I really like that part too.
Okay, we'll move on to policy 2161, special ed related services for eligible students.
Thank you again, Mr. Thornton. As you saw from the policy and the strikeouts and what's new, the changes that we're looking for in policy are semantics. They changed some wording, no significant changes to the actual policy itself. But as you know, when we're taking these types of policies that then have to appear on school improvement plans, on grants and such, we always have to make sure we have the most updated version of it. So when we're asking for approval on this, we're not going to be changing any nuts and bolts, simply some wordsmithing that had been done over the past year.
It's pretty minor.
Yep, very minor.
So do we need to approve this?
Yes, please.
Do we have any questions? Comments? All I saw was a couple blocked out.
Yeah, I mean, literally taking those with disabilities, striking out those, adding students with disabilities, going from IEP to individualized education program. Very, very minor.
Okay, well. No comment then?
I'll make a motion to approve policy 2161 as revised.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That one passes. Oh, I can't. Just realized. Okay, moving on to the minutes.
So just a small change I'd like to make to the minutes, under my board comment. It just says task force. I'd just like it to say dual language committee in the hopes that parents might read that and want to join us and know what they were joining. So I'd like to make a motion to amend the minutes to include that.
So swap task force to dual language.
Committee. So they know which needs help.
And then I made a comment to Heidi about spelling corrections. She probably caught it right off. Okay, so guess we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as modified.
I move to approve the minutes as modified.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ricky
Oh, wait.
should probably
Yeah,
abstain.
I'm staying for that.
Oh, you were,
Yeah.
you were here, were you?
Yep.
Okay. 4-4. All right, then we'll move on to board comments.
Well, as discussed, I was really happy to be there for the high school graduation. So thank you again. Great service. Really proud of the kids. And also, I was able to participate with Rick and Dale in the dads with donuts with dads in Miss
And the
Davis's class.
walkthrough.
And it was perfect timing. Got to do the walkthrough right from the classroom there. So that was really special as well. So both great events.
It was fun. I even had an adopted son.
Same here.
I was gonna say, did you adopt a donut?
Adopted several goodies.
Good.
I abstained from the donut.
Yeah, I like to say, that was a good event that they put on. I guess this year they had 2 classes that did it. Hopefully they'll get the rest to follow along. Also went to the migrant senior dinner that Diana put on. A really good event. Provided dinner, which was catered by Hacienda and so on. And the senior students put a pretty good event on. Great to see.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I missed graduation. I'd have much rather been there.
I'm sorry I missed it, but I was having a pretty good time. But next year, I'll be there. I've had a busy couple weeks, so I missed a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, well then, we will move on to an executive session pursuant to
Can I say
RCW.
one last thing? But I just
Oh,
want to put it on record, because I forgot to say that the art club actually did one more activity. And if you guys go to the front of the school and the old concrete sign that says Kiona Benton City High
I saw
School
that.
has looked like it's been like worn, torn for the 8 years I've been here.
I noticed.
And I got into Mrs. Baumgartner's ear and I said, boy, it would be nice if we could get somebody to do that. You guys paint a lot, don't you? So we got the paint for maintenance. They went down, so if you have a chance to go take a look at it, it looks amazing.
I
Like
noticed.
brand
it
new.
right
So I wanted to
off.
make sure I recognize her for that because those kids do deserve that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, we did notice that right off, went by, and, wow, that thing flashes right out at you. Okay, well, then we'll go to our executive session with no business to follow. We'll be adjourned after that. 60 minutes
Thank you, everyone.
for personnel matters.
I'm gonna send you the PowerPoint